With each new Pokemon TCG expansion, the same question arises. What will be the next best deck of the format? Will any of the new Pokemon be able to overcome the current ones to claim the BDIF title, or will a familiar card remain at the top? Since EUIC and the rotation came about, Chariz RDX has coursed its way to the forefront, winning most of the TPCI events so far all over the globe. Its dominance in the Temporal Forces format is undeniable, leaving players scrambling for answers. Yet, Twilight Masquerade promises to bring a new challenger. The enigmatic Dragapult DX might be the answer to those who are growing tired of seeing the fiery lizard claim more titles each weekend.
If you want to support the channel, you can use code tablemon to get 5% off at Botton store for your online codes, 10% off for your sealed product at Flipside Gaming, and 20% off for your superfoods at Amaranthi. Or if you're looking to buy singles or sleeves, you can fill up your cart and close the tab, then click on the affiliate link in the description and check out. That way you can support the channel over at TCG Player, Card Market, and Dragon Shield. ¿Eres de México y necesitas cartas de Pokémon? Busca Hyperbeam Cards en Facebook e Instagram. Y si estás en Tijuana, búscalos en el local C27 en el Centro Comercial Otay.
The Pokemon TCG roars into 2024 with a new expansion brimming with potential, and among the most highly anticipated arrivals is Dragapult DX. This menacing pseudo-legendary Dragonite Ghost type boasts a fearsome reputation in the video game, and the brand new card promises to reshape the competitive scene. But what makes Dragapult DX such a game changer? Dragapult DX boasts an impressive 320 HP, amongst the highest of the Stage 2 EX cards and without any weakness. It'll be one tough cookie to take down quickly. These two great stats, combined with the incredibly powerful Phantom Dive attack doing 200 damage for only 2 energy, along with placing 6 damage counters to the bench, rounds out an incredibly powerful card. There is a key difference between doing damage and placing damage counters, and while Manaphy can cover for any bench damage, this damage counter placement is crucially not stopped by Jirachi, which states it blocks damage counter placement from opponents' basic Pokemon attacks, not Stage 2s. The only current standard legal cards that will block such an effect are Rabsca and its Spherical Shield ability, as well as Mist Energy. Both have their drawbacks, and fitting either into any deck to help cover for Dragapult DX comes at the cost of valuable deck space. The bonus damage to the bench, with no easy way to block it, is what will make Dragapult DX a top tier deck, as probably not by coincidence, there are many 60 HP basic Pokemon that you could take down to take multiple prizes per turn every time you attack, such as Charmander, Frigibax, Bidoof, and Ralts. The next trait that will make Dragapult DX a top tier deck is its Stage 1, Dracloak. With the Telling Spirit ability, you can access extra cards each turn for every Dracloak you have in play. We've already seen this ability in the past with Pidgeotto's or Mela ability, and it was very successful back then. Having a powerful Stage 1 is very important for a lot of the current Stage 2 decks to succeed, as we have seen with Gardevoir EX and the Refinement Kirlia to help draw extra cards, or the Flare Veiled Charmeleon to help protect against Technical Machine Devolution and effects of attacks such as the 6 damage counter placement from Dragapult DX. Dracloak will only add consistency to an already powerful card, and there is no surprise that Dragapult DX has been dominating tournaments in Japan where it can already be played, having already achieved a top 4 placement at the Sapporo Champions League. However, one thing remains unsolved. What is Dragapult DX's best partner? Dragapult DX's attack costs an awkward Psychic and Fire energy to attack with, and while 2 energy isn't too much, it needs a partner that can help cover that cost in some way. Thankfully for Dragapult DX though, there is no shortage of options to help power it up in a single turn in case you don't have any energy in play, and in this video we will explore all of the ones that have seen success so far.
If you have enjoyed the video so far and found the information useful, please consider becoming a Tablemon channel member through the join button down below. For as low as $1.99 a month, you can help support the creation of these videos.
Starting off with the most common one, Zatu. This card hasn't seen any competitive success yet, as there hasn't been a great partner to combine it with. People might argue that it's done well enough with its Pathway EX, but realistically, that deck is more of a meme than anything. Its main reason to be played is due to the grass typing giving it an edge over Chariz RDX, but when Chariz RDX is 25% of the meta share of every tournament and it still can't succeed against the top tier players, that takes away all credibility from it. However, Zatu's time in the spotlight is near, as with a Clairvoyant Sense ability, you get 2 amazing benefits. You get to attach a Psychic Energy from hand to Dragapult DX, and also an extra 2 cards. This will help the consistency of Dragapult DX decks immensely, as they will now be able to power up a Dragapult DX out of thin air. Setting up Zatu should also be relatively simple, especially since Zatu has 50 HP and thus can be fetched by Body Puffin along with a 70 HP Dreepies. But getting the Psychic Energy into your hand might be a bit of a challenge, since you have to balance it out with the Fire Energy count as well. It will be crucial to have a healthy amount of Psychic Energy in the deck and a few copies of Earthen Vessel too. This combination of Dragapult DX with Zatu was the highest placed at the only big tournament we have to reference to so far, the Sapporo Champions League, where we were able to see the deck in action, though ultimately falling to a Gardevoir EX that used Cresselia and 2 copies of Professor Turos to deny the damage counter placement of Dragapult DX very effectively. I predict this will likely be the more popular combination in the initial stages of the metagame once Twilight Masquerade comes out on PTCG Live. Next up we have Mirage Gate, which equates to using the whole Lost Zone engine and the benefits that brings. It seems like a match made in heaven for the Lost Zone engine and Dragapult DX, as Mirage Gate is the perfect fit to cover the Psychic Fire energy cost of Dragapult DX, as it lets you get exactly 2 different types of basic energy to attach to your Pokemon. Running this engine also gives you the possibility of using Cramorant in the early game, and stabilize Lost Mine to complement the damage counters that Dragapult DX will already be placing everywhere. This is especially strong, since Jirachi is being dropped from deck since it doesn't help to stop Dragapult DX anyways, so Sableye benefits from the lack of Jirachi in a lot of these decks. The icing on the cake is the possibility of using Radiant Charizard as well, since we already have the Fire Energy, which allows you to hit for more than 200 damage at different points in the game, as it can sometimes feel like a letdown and your opponent can use it against you. This version of the Dragapult DX deck was the second highest placed in the Sapporo Champions League tournament and has also proven itself quite a bit in the Seed League tournaments too. I fully expect the Lost Zone variant to be almost as popular as the Zatu variant and might be powerful enough to keep up in the upcoming metagame. Then we get to the Dragapult DX deck that wants to do it all, and uses Chariz RDX for the energy acceleration for fire energies, and also gains an extremely powerful attacker in case you weren't already aware how good a card Chariz RDX is. On paper it looks fine and dandy, but Chariz RDX is a stage 2 that doesn't offer anything in the name of consistency, and it kind of takes away the spotlight from Dragapult DX in the attacking department too. Dracloak is good, but it's not good enough to be its own solo engine, and so you're playing a double stage 2 deck with a mediocre backbone of an engine to support it. Now, some players have gone full crazy mode and are playing 3 stage 2s in their deck, Pidgey DX, Dragapult DX and Chariz RDX, and while that should help with the consistency a bit, it is still 3 stage 2 in the same deck, and that feels like it's pushing past the limit of what's viable or acceptable, especially since you can only play 4 rare candy total in your deck. We did see some of these decks with an incredible 12-2 record in a best of 1 environment in the Sapporo Champions League in Japan, but as we can see in these few turns, the deck slowly fell apart after it was only able to get out 1 Chariz RDX against Lugia V-Star. Once that went down, with no energy or Pidgey DX in play, and the underwhelming draw of Dracloak, it was a quick loss for them. Dragapult DX is a powerful card, and so is Chariz RDX, but I don't think they are meant to be played together as they battle to have the spotlight and take away the focus from each other's strengths. And with that, we get to the final version that I have seen pop up over in Japan, the Pidgey DX Mela builds. These decks are keeping the core that has worked so well for Chariz RDX up to this point, and adapting Dragapult DX in there and trying to play to its strengths. Mela is used as a supporter of choice to get an extra energy in place in case you miss an attachment at any point and you have no energy on the field. You can always expect to be down 1 or even 2 prizes as you set up, so there should be plenty of opportunities to use it, and with Pidgey DX or Luminion V, we can directly search for the card. This version that I found from City Leagues only uses 1 Mela, but I think 2 would be a better fit overall for the deck. Another consideration for this deck is of course which A-Spec to use. But given there's no Pokemon based energy acceleration, it seems like the Neo Upper Energy, one of the least hyped and used A-Specs cards up until now, has finally found its space in the metagame, as I don't think there is a more perfect card to use to cover for Dragapult DX's attack, Psychic and Fire cost. This does mean you miss out on an extremely powerful cards such as Prime Catcher or Unfair Stamp, and this version seems to be the least popular out of the 4 shown so far. And I think for good reason. Whatever partner you choose to complement Dragapult DX, it has to fulfill the role of helping in the energy department, whether it's by attaching extra energy like Zatu, Chariz RDX and Mirage Gate, or by supporting with ways to do so like Mela and Neo Upper Energy, none of the lists from Japan are perfect. And as they play best of one exclusively, their deck building or metagame doesn't always translate one-to-one to our best of 3 50-minute format setting, but they do offer a solid starting place from which to gather ideas from. If you want to take a look at some of those lists yourself, you can go to the Seal League section of the Limitless TCG website to look at the top 16 lists for each tournament, or you can also browse in this Japanese website Pokekabook by archetype instead. Dragapult DX will 100% be a top tier deck on day 1 of its release, and likely the new benchmark of the format replacing Chariz RDX. And so, if you're getting ready for that tournament, you will have to either figure out the best Dragapult DX deck you can possibly can, or play a deck that has a good chance at standing up to it. One thing going against Dragapult DX though, is that it is so good at limiting the low HP evolving Pokemon decks from working well, such as Chariz RDX or Chien-Pao Excalibur, that decks like Lugia Vista or Miraidon EX are more viable, as well as decks teching hard against it, like Gardevoir EX playing Cresselia, Munkidori and Professor Turo Scenario to lower the impact of the 6 damage counters placement on their bench. And so, which team will you be? Team Dragapult or Team Anti-Dragapult? Let me know in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Until next time!